Some shocking television secrets stayed hidden for over 50 long years, and every single one of them is finally coming out into the open. David here. And what you are about to learn will completely change the way you see this classic show forever. And number one is so shocking, even the cast couldn't believe it really happened. Hit subscribe before you miss anything. Fact number 10. One scene was too emotional to film. When the writers decided to kill off Lieutenant Colonel Henry Blake in 1975, they kept it a complete secret from almost the entire cast until the very last moment. The script pages with the death scene were handed to Gary Berghoff, who played Radar, only minutes before filming began. So the shocked tears you see on his face in front of the camera were 100% real and not acting at all.
Lieutenant Colonel Henry Blake's plane.
The episode aired on March 18, 1975, and CBS later confirmed that they received over 1,000 angry letters and phone calls from heartbroken fans within just a few days. Many viewers wrote that they cried for hours, and some even refused to watch the show again for weeks in protest. The writers, Larry Gelbart and Gene Reynolds, later explained in interviews that they wanted people to feel the real pain of war, where good men die without warning and without goodbye. Even today, TV historians rank that single short scene as one of the most powerful moments in American television history, proving that just 2 minutes of honest acting can break millions of hearts at once. Fact number 9, the cast worked in brutal California heat. The outdoor scenes were filmed at Malibu Creek State Park in California, and the temperature there often climbed above 100 degrees Fahrenheit during long summer shooting days. The actors had to wear thick wool army uniforms made for the freezing Korean winter, even though they were standing under a burning desert-like sun for hours. Loretta Sweet, who played Hot Lips Houlihan, said in many interviews that the cast often felt dizzy and very close to fainting because of the heavy clothes and the dry mountain air around them. Alan Alda also shared that drinking water on set was simply not enough, as the strong sun would dry their skin and lips within just a few minutes. The makeup team had to keep retouching the actors every short while because heavy sweat would wash off everything they had carefully applied. Some crew members reportedly suffered serious heat strokes during long shooting days, and medical help had to be called more than once over the 11-year run. Despite all this pain and discomfort, the cast never complained on camera because they wanted every single scene to feel as real as possible. Fact number 8. Many episodes came from real war stories. The writers did not invent most of the dramatic events shown on the screen. They collected real experiences directly from soldiers, doctors, and nurses who had actually served in the Korean War. The team sent letters to hundreds of real MASH unit veterans across America, asking them to share their memories, and many wrote back with shocking and very emotional details from the battlefield. Dr. Walter Dischel, a real working surgeon, served as the medical advisor for the entire 11-year run,
minimize your maximize. But why aren't field hospitals properly supplied with incubators?
Making sure that every operation scene looked correct down to the smallest tool. Larry Gelbart, the main writer in the early years, even traveled abroad to speak with people who remembered the actual war and its hospitals. Some of the most painful episodes you see on the screen came directly from real letters sent by veterans who had lost their best friends in those tents. This is exactly why the show feels so heavy and so true at the same time, because much of it actually happened to real human beings during real battles. Which fact has surprised you the most so far? Drop the number in the comments below. Fact number 7, Jamie Farr was almost fired early. Jamie Farr, who played the lovable Corporal Klinger in his famous Dresses, was originally hired for just one single episode in the very first season of the show. His character was supposed to appear only one time.
What are you doing?
Can a guy have a wash and set without somebody biting him on the neck?
Wearing women's clothes to try and get out of the army on a mental discharge, and then disappear forever from the screen. The producers had absolutely no plans to bring him back again, and Jamie Farr himself was paid only as a one-time guest actor at first, with no contract for the future. But something amazing happened after that single episode aired. Viewers fell deeply in love with Klinger and began writing many letters asking the network for more of him. The producers were truly shocked by the strong public response, so they invited Jamie Farr back for a few more episodes, then finally made him a full regular cast member by season 4. What makes this even more touching is that Jamie Farr was the only main actor who had actually served in the United States Army during the Korean War period, which means his uniform was deeply personal and very real to him. Fact number 6, the set burned down completely. In October 1982, a massive wildfire swept through Malibu Creek State Park, where the entire outdoor set had stood proudly for over 10 long years of filming. The fire destroyed almost everything in just a few hours: the green tents, the famous wooden signpost, the helicopter pad, and most of the props that the cast had used since 1972. Instead of rebuilding the set from zero, which would have cost a huge amount of money and many months of work, the writers made a brilliant and creative decision that shocked everyone. They wrote the wildfire directly into the show as a real event happening to the camp itself in the final season. This means that the burnt remains and black ashes you see on the screen in those late episodes are not movie magic at all. Those are the actual ashes of the real set that millions of fans had loved for a full decade. Firefighters who arrived at the scene later said the flames were so strong that even some metal parts of the set had melted into shapeless pieces, showing the real power of that disaster. Fact number 5, the helicopters were real Army aircraft. The famous helicopters that landed at the camp in almost every single episode were not movie props at all. They were real Bell H-13 Sioux helicopters, the exact same model used by the United States Army during the Korean War in the early 1950s. Some of these very same helicopters had even seen real combat service in actual wars before being sold or rented to the show's production team in California. The pilots who flew them were also real licensed aviators, with many of them being former military men, because flying that kind of helicopter near actors and tents is extremely dangerous and needs many years of careful training. Each landing had to be planned very carefully ahead of time, as one small mistake could have easily killed someone standing on set. The opening scene of the show, where helicopters fly over the brown hills carrying wounded soldiers, was filmed using these actual aircraft, which is exactly why it looks so heavy and so real on the screen. Did you ever notice the real helicopters before today? Tell me in the comments below. Fact number 4, Alan Alda changed the entire show. Alan Alda, who played Captain Hawkeye Pierce, started the show as just one of the lead actors, but over the years he slowly became the most powerful creative voice behind the entire camera. He is the only person in television history to win Emmy Awards for acting, writing, and directing on the same single series, a rare record that still stands strong today after more than 40 long years. Alda pushed the show very hard to move away from simple jokes and start showing the real emotional pain of war, including deep episodes about death, mental breakdown, and women's basic rights in the Army. He also flew from New York City to Los Angeles every single week for 11 full years, refusing to move his loving family to California, which made him one of the most loyal husbands and fathers in all of Hollywood at that time.
We're not gonna eat this dreck anymore! We want something else!
Without Alda's strong voice and deep care for quality, the show would have stayed a regular comedy and ended after just a few short seasons, instead of becoming one of the greatest TV programs ever made by anyone. Fact number 3, the laugh track caused huge arguments. Behind the closed doors of the studio, there was a very long and bitter fight between the show's creators and the CBS network about the use of the fake laugh track. The producers, Larry Gelbart and Gene Reynolds, deeply hated the idea of fake laughter playing during scenes about war, death, and dying young soldiers because they felt it was extremely disrespectful and totally unrealistic. CBS, however, demanded the laugh track because every single comedy on American television used one in the 1970s, and the network bosses were very afraid that viewers would not understand the jokes without it. After many heated meetings and angry phone calls, both sides finally reached a special agreement together. The laugh track would be used in every part of the show except inside the operating room, because no human being laughs while saving a dying life. This is exactly why, if you watch carefully today, you will never hear a single fake laugh during any surgery scene in all 11 seasons. Even more interesting, when the show aired in the United Kingdom on BBC, the laugh track was completely removed because British viewers found it strange and very annoying. Fact number 2, Radar's teddy bear was real. The small brown teddy bear that Corporal Radar O'Reilly held in almost every single episode was not just a random prop picked off a shelf. It had a very deep and personal meaning. Gary Berghoff, the actor who played Radar, became so attached to the little bear during filming that he treated it like a real and breathing member of the cast around him. The bear stood for Radar's pure innocence and his very young heart, showing that even a soldier in a deadly war zone is still just a boy missing his home and his loving mother. After the show ended in 1983, that exact teddy bear went up for public auction and was sold to a private collector for thousands of US dollars, which was a huge amount of money for one small toy at that time. Berghoff has shared in many interviews that the bear was one of the most personal items he ever held during his entire acting career. Do you still remember the first time you saw Radar holding his teddy bear? Share your memory in the comments below. Fact number 1, the finale broke TV history. The final episode, called Goodbye, Farewell, and Amen, aired on February 28, 1983. And what happened on that one quiet Monday night had truly never happened before in the entire history of television. A shocking 105.97 million Americans sat down in front of their TVs to watch it together, which means almost half of the entire population of the country was watching the same show at the exact same moment in time. The episode itself was 2.5 hours long, much longer than any normal show on air, and CBS sold the advertising slots during it for record-breaking prices that no one had ever paid before. Water companies in big cities like New York later reported a huge spike in water usage during the commercial breaks because millions of people were rushing to use their bathrooms at the same exact minute, which actually shook the city's pipe systems. This finale held the record as the most watched single episode in American TV history for 27 long years. And for scripted shows, no episode has ever come close to that giant number even today. What you have just learned is only the beginning, because hundreds of more hidden secrets from your favorite old shows are still buried out there waiting to be revealed. Hit that subscribe button immediately and never miss another deep look like this one, because each new video brings something unforgettable.